Hello folks, and thank you so much for joining us on The Extra Point, your only place for local high school sports and activities. I'm your host Dolly Fonseth, and today we're at Greeley Central High School, where in just a few moments we're going to be chatting with the Wildcats girls varsity basketball team. But first, like always, we have some incredible highlights from last week that we'd love to share with you. So without further ado, let's take a look. Northridge, Estes Park, and Holyoke all in the pool for a tri-dual meet. The Grizzlies swam a strong meet but came out a little short in this one, as Estes Park takes top honors. In the 200-yard medley, the Northridge team of Chloe Allen, Elizabeth White, Becky Reeve, and Kaylin Baca took third place with a time of 3 minutes. In the 200 freestyle, Estes Park took first and second place, with Holyoke taking third. The winning time for Estes Park in this event was 2:19:09. Grizzlies upperclassman senior Kelsey Cousins had a superb performance in the 200-yard individual medley. She finished the race in 2:53:12, which earned her second place. Liederman also had a 5th place finish in the 500 freestyle. Other top performers were Grizzly sophomore Sydney Rapp, who was second in the 100 butterfly and runner-up in the 100 breaststroke. Northridge junior Duran Kern recorded a 3rd place finish in the 100 freestyle and was 4th in the 50 freestyle. Kern, Rapp, and Liederman teamed with freshman Elizabeth White to carry the Grizzlies to a 3rd place finish in the 400 freestyle relay. On the day, Estes Park topped the Grizzlies 140-38, while Holyoke edged Northridge 86-70. Also, Estes Park defeated Holyoke 139-37. Moving on to action on the hardwood, as the Northridge Grizzlies played host to the visiting Berthoud Spartans. First quarter action, and the Grizzlies were dialed in from behind the arc. Jay Fry finds nothing but net on this 3-pointer. Berthoud would counter with their transition game as they sliced through the Northridge defense. With their outside game clicking, that opened things up inside, and Joel Navarez takes it straight in for the hoop. And after 1 quarter of action, this game was tied at 13 apiece. The second quarter was a back-and-forth affair as both teams traded the lead in this game. Bryant Frank with a strong move through the lane for the hoop. A little later, the Grizzlies work the inside-outside game as Blake Carlin drives the lane and then kicks it out to Isaac Gonzalez, who drains the 3. And going into halftime, it was the Grizzlies who had the lead, Berthoud 21 and Northridge 24. In the second half, Blake Carlin would continue to lead the charge for Northridge. Carlin would drop in 10 points for the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies also turned up the heat on defense. Bryant Frank leads the break, and Joel Navarez finishes the play with the putback. But that would be one of the few bright spots for the Grizzlies in the third quarter, as their offense went cold and Berthoud's heated up. And after 3, it was Berthoud 35 and Northridge 29. Northridge would look to cut into that Berthoud lead in the fourth quarter as they kept the pressure on the Spartans. But Berthoud matched the Grizzlies shot for shot in the fourth. Northridge played their best ball of the night in the fourth quarter as they cut that Berthoud lead down to 2. But that was as close as they got. In the end, it was the Spartans who take this contest 58-50. In girls hoop action, the Longmont Trojans came to town to take on the Greeley Central Wildcats. This game was close right from the opening tip-off. Kelsey Cousins and Kayla Leachman helped to lead the charge for the Wildcats. Cousins catches the Trojans napping, and Leachman finishes the playoff with the basket. The Trojans kept things close in the first quarter, but the Wildcats were able to pull away midway through the quarter. Kelsey Cousins calls glass and hits the 3-pointer. The Wildcats continue to push the tempo in the game. This steal keys the break, and Kelsey Cousins will find Mallory Cranwell cutting to the basket. And after 1 quarter of play, it's Greeley Central 18-7 over Longmont. The Trojans got their points in the paint in the second quarter. With 3 6-footers in the lineup, Longmont was able to cut into the Wildcat lead. Kayla Leachman was the offensive star for the Wildcats. Leachman would lead all scorers with 24 points on the night. Longmont cut into a little of the Wildcat lead, but at the break, it was a 10-point cushion for the Cats, as they led the Trojans 33-22. In the third quarter, the Trojans continued to flex their muscles inside as they started to chip away at the Wildcat lead. The Wildcats looked to continue their hot shooting into the second half, but the shots just weren't falling for the Cats. They struggled to put up just 9 points in the third quarter. And what had been a 10-point lead was now a 1-point deficit, with Longmont up 43-42 over Greeley Central. Points were still at a premium for the Cats in the fourth quarter as they struggled to find their shot. The one Wildcat who still had her shot was Kayla Leachman. This 3 kept it a 1-point game. But Longmont just wouldn't give up that lead, and the Trojans held on with some timely free throw shooting to edge the Wildcats 55-51. Folks at home, we hope you enjoyed those highlights. I know I most certainly did. Now I know you're watching because you have a favorite team and you'd probably like to see their standings. So we're gonna take a look at those standings, but when we come back, we're talking Wildcat girls varsity basketball right here on the Extra Point. Welcome back to the show, folks. I'm joined now with the head coach of the girls varsity basketball team here at Greeley Central, Jerry Stugart. Jerry, thank you so much for taking time out of your practice to chat with us today.
Well, thank you for coming down.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Stugart, this is your second year as a head coach for these young ladies. Why don't you talk about the importance of having a consistent coach in a program?
Well, I think it's very important because of the fact that it takes about 3-4 years before you can actually build a program from the C team on up. And last year we struggled pretty much. We're still struggling a little, but we're getting a lot better. And so the longer you're here and you start running your system, it's much better for the school and for the girls.
Now, Coach, you have a very young team. Your team consists a lot of sophomores, a lot of juniors, and a few freshmen. Why don't you talk about the excitement of your future here at for Wildcat basketball?
Well, it's exciting because the freshmen are learning our program. The sophomores are learning it. We should get a lot of advantage out of them. And the juniors, they have one more year, and every day we practice, we just learn more and more about the system. They are doing super, and it was quite a change from what they had 2 years ago, from what we played ball, the way we play it. So yeah, they're learning a lot, and I think they're enjoying it, and the more they enjoy it, the better they're going to play.
Now, Coach, you have 3 weeks left of the season. Why don't you tell everybody at home, what is it that you're doing to really help these girls finish on a strong note?
We're still working on fundamentals. We'll work on fundamentals probably all next year. But we're trying to shoot better. We were a very poor shooting team, but we have come a long ways. So we're going to continue shooting free throws and trying to get better on our 3-point shots and 2-point shots as far as that goes. So we're just going to go back to the fundamentals, and that's what we do every day, and that's what we're going to continue doing.
Coach Stugart, thank you so much for letting us invade your practice today.
Well, thanks for coming down. We enjoyed having you.
Absolutely, and good luck to you in the rest of the season.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Also joining us on the show today, folks, is junior basketball player Kelsey Cousins.
Yes.
Kelsey, thank you so much for taking time out of your practice to chat with us today.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Well, I think that this is really neat. You've been playing basketball since you were a freshman, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This is your coach's second year as the head coach of you girls. Why don't you talk about the importance from a player's standpoint of having a consistent coach?
Well, I think it really benefits us. We come in every day knowing what he expects. We come into games knowing what we need to do. It's a lot better than from my freshman year when we were still kind of shaky on what we needed to do. So it's really beneficial.
Kelsey, being a student athlete is very difficult. You have to balance your academics and your athletics. Why don't you elaborate on that?
Well, it's pretty difficult, but I have free periods, 3rd block and 8th block, and I get quite a bit of downtime. So I try and squeeze it in as much as I can in classes and when we're not doing anything, and then after school in between practice. So.
Kelsey, you have 3 solid weeks left of your season. What is it that you're doing individually to make sure you end on a strong note?
Well, at this point, we're just trying to focus on fundamentals and keeping focus, because coming down to the wire, it's so hard to stay focused. So we're doing that and just working on shooting and running through our plays, and defense is going to be pretty big this next 3 weeks. So hopefully it'll come down and we'll make it to postseason.
Kelsey, it was really great to meet you. Thank you so much for letting us invade your practice, and good luck to you at the end of your season.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Folks at home, this is Kelsey Cousins. I'm Dolly Fonseth. Stick around. We're going to wrap up the Extra Point right after this. Welcome back to the show, folks. Don't forget to tune in next week for another exciting edition of the Extra Point. Folks at home, would you like me to tell you where we're going to be? Well, I'm sure you would, but what's the fun in that? You'll have to stay tuned and find out. But what I can tell you is where your favorite team is going to be. Let's take a look at their schedule. Folks at home, I want to remind you how extremely hard student athletes work in the classroom so they can come out and compete week in and week out. I want to send a message to all students watching. You guys stay focused, put academics first, and I promise you success will follow you absolutely every step of the way. Now, folks at home, we want to hear from you at the Extra Point. That's right, and all you need to do is slide in front of your computer and send us an email. You can send all your emails to bsathy@greeleyschools.org. It's right here, bsathy@greeleyschools.org. Give us some feedback, whether you liked the show, had any opinions, suggestions, anything that you submit we're going to read on air, and you will be a local celebrity for a day. So just send us those emails. And folks, while you're in front of your computer, you can check out the Extra Point on the World Wide Web by going to www.greeleyschools.org. Again, that's www.greeleyschools.org. Click on the link Videos, and there you'll find us, The Extra Point. I want to take this time to thank the Greeley Central girls varsity basketball team for letting us invade their practice. Thank you so much, ladies. And I also want to take this time to thank the two guys in charge of the highlights, Dean Popejoy and Brian Sappy. Thank you so much, you guys. They were great highlights. And the man behind the camera as I speak, Brian Sappy, thank you so much for your great direction here on The Extra Point. And folks at home, I want to copiously thank you for watching. My name's Dolly Fonseth. Don't forget to tune in next week for another exciting edition of The Extra Point. We will see you then.